Hello and welcome to another free code session. My name is Jason Bach, and let's get into actually starting to write some of this StaticCast generator stuff. Okay, so I created the initial project solution setup and just put out a skeleton generator here. And now we're just going to fill in the blanks, so to speak. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is make sure that we're getting the right node. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is say node is, now what kind of node is it going to be? If I come over here and I do the syntax visualizer and I say, hey, what you're going to be if you call something like that? It's going to be a simple member access expression, but I think you can say member access expression, not exception, simple member access expression. Okay, not the start I was looking for. Let's go to partially apply generator. Sure, you should have that up there. I don't know why you're not getting it, but you will. Member access expression syntax. That's what we really want. There you go. Okay, we're all good now. What do we call that? Access. And I'm using partially applied as kind of a template to do some of this stuff. Okay, and then we want to say, is the expression a identifier name syntax? Then I'm not sure if that's what that actually is. Its expression is actually a generic name, because the generic name is going to have an identifier. The generic name, its expression is, no, it has an identifier. So our expression here, I wish it said here like what the expression type is. I think that this syntax visualizer needs some love. It's really helpful, but I don't think it's been pretty much updated ever since it came out. At least it doesn't feel that way. So we want to say an access dot expression is generic name syntax. Generic name. And the generic name dot identifier text is equal to StaticCast. And we want to make sure that the would that be, yes, generic name dot type argument list dot length count, I don't know, type type argument list syntax. Okay, well, do you have like arguments? Oh, you do. Count is equal to 2. Now this is a separated syntax list representing the type arguments. Okay, sure, we'll go with that. That's fine. Okay, so this will say that at least we've done something where we're trying to call something like this, and that's just fine. Okay. Now, when we get to transform target, what we want to transform this into is a member access expression. So we're going to say return context.node as member access expression, and you want to use expression by locals because reasons. So we'll come over here and say that, and now you'll say what? Change the cast, because that really went well. Okay, and then we want this to be that as well. These are not symbols. These are access nodes. As good a name as any, right? Okay. So we're already like 90% done. You know, today I tweeted out, is Sunday a beer drinking day? And I got very many typical responses, or ones that I expected. So I'm actually having a nut brown ale. I think it's a Samuel Smith. I don't particularly like, I tried a couple of them and they were kind of like, I don't know. Today it's resonating more with me today. So I got that going for me. You know, lazy Sunday. You know, you just want to have a couple drinks and relax. Okay. Enough about alcohol. Let's get back into coding. Although one could argue that that's actually related. So what do I want to do? I want to make sure that the second generic parameter type is an interface, or I can see if it's an interface. And then I need to see if what you're trying to call on it is that there's actually members on it of that name. Doesn't matter about arguments or anything like that. We just want to make sure that they match by name. Okay. So I'm going to assume that there's going to be var signatures is equal to a new hash set of, we're just going to say string right now. I really don't know if that's what we're going to end up going with, but it's something. It's a hash set of something. And when you have something, you're already there or something. Okay. So the next thing we want to do is say on the member access expression syntax, we want to say for each var access node and access nodes, right? There. Okay. And now what we want to do is, if we come back to StaticCast Playground, we want to say what you did here is you had a generic name, and does that have an identifier? No, the expression is that. So then how did you get, is the name? Access node dot name. And that is a simple name text. Is that text? Get text. Well, that's name is foo, right? So we can say if access node name is identifier name access, we'll say name, node name, because we need that. Okay. And now what we want to do is say, okay, well, you've got that. So we'll have the var member name is equal to access node name dot text value name stuff. Why would you do that to me? Identifier name syntax. Identifier text. There we go. Okay. I think I'm starting to get the hang of the object model in Roslyn, and it's been what, 8-10 years. Okay, so we're gonna have the member name. Oh, you gotta close that off. There you go. Okay, so now we've said we're looking for the member name, and now we need to look at, well, before we do all this, this is going to be interesting. I wonder, if we come back to partially applied, you really can't, it's an invocation expression syntax, and then you look for partially applied information, and a result is a partially applied information result. So you can get the model. I wonder if I can do this. So before we do any of this, we need to first we need to verify. I mean, there's things that I said we need to verify, right? We're going to say here, no, don't take that because I don't know if that's actually what I want. No. I know you're trying to be helpful, but it's not helping. We said that you could do this, so And we want to get the type argument list. We want to get the arguments. We want to get var cast2 parameter type. So what we want to say is access node, oops, not that, expression is generic name, say as, and then, well, yeah, you'd say dot and then type argument list arguments of the second, no, well, the second, but we want to make it that, okay? And why? We know that's going to be correct. We wouldn't have gotten here if that wasn't correct. Okay, so let's say var model is equal to compilation model. And we want to get the semantic model for the tree. And the tree we want to get from is access node syntax tree. Okay. Now this cast a parameter type is a type syntax. So we would like to get this as a declared symbol, right? So we want to say var cast, let's put this down here. Cast2 parameter symbol, which is going to be the model dot get declared. Wait, we said get the semantic model from that, right? So that should be giving us the semantic model. Except just do that. Get declared symbol for cast2 parameter type. Okay. So this one we need to say if cast2 parameter type is interface. Can you do that? As I named type, we need the name type symbol. There's just no way around it. Is interface. Nope, that doesn't do it either. Well, you know what? We can actually probably say type kind. Okay, let's see if you can see the eye roll I just did. Type kind is equal to interface. Okay, now we can move on because that's exactly what we're looking for. Yes, I know. Too bad you can't do that. You know, but we can do it here. Okay, so we have determined that the second one is an interface. To do, if the type kind isn't found, but we can somehow infer that it would be an interface based on constraints. That should be done. Again, we're doing MVP here for now, so we'll come back to this. You know, we'll probably clean this up and make this a little bit easier to go through and blah blah blah. Okay, so we're assuming we figured out what the second node is, and the second node is going to be the second parameter is going to now be an interface. So now we figured out the name. So now what we want to do is say var var members is equal to cast2 parameter symbol dot get members that have member name. We don't care. Of type I method symbol. There. So now we have an enumerable, right? No, we have an immutable array. Okay, well, same thing. Well, not the same thing, but it's actually that came up in a question that a guy I work at had, which is like, what's the difference between an enumerable and an array, and why would I want to use one or the other? And it's a valid question, especially if you're trying to learn, you know, Typically, enumerables are good if you don't know how many things are coming back and you're just going to iterate over it once. But anyway, there's a longer answer there, and I don't care to get into it right now. So we're going to get all the members. Okay. Now, for each var member in members, what we want to do is say member.toString. That's what I'd love to be able to do, is have this print out everything. Okay. Var member signature. To do this may not be good enough and probably isn't. Okay. Now, signatures.add member signature. If this was added, then we need to do it. Okay, now we need to generate code. So that member signature thing there, I may need to have like an extension method off a method symbol to give me something that's going to be complete. In terms of, I don't care what type it's declared on, I just care what does the shape of it look like. Okay. Okay, so we're to the point where we now need to actually generate. So what we would want to do is say, add this to a list of symbols that we want to generate for. Yes. Var members to generate. This is going to be a new list of iMethod symbols. Okay. So we would add it to we're going to add the member. Okay. So we've gone through all the members, and really what we want to do is go through all the access nodes, because you could have them all over the place. We want to get through all of them, and then we want to get to the point where we're going to say, okay, now if you have some, let's actually do a builder. Okay, so we're going to say here, I'm pointing at at my screen. This part here is probably going to be in what I call like an information class. I've followed this pattern where I build this information class. It gives you back everything you need to say, do you actually generate or not? So probably I would give all the access notes to that. And what it would give me back in turn is probably diagnostics and a list of members to generate. Okay. And so now for here, we're going to say if members to generate dot length count is greater than 0, now we can generate. Okay. And so this is where I'm going to start to do my typical stuff, add a new folder, and we're going to call this builders, and we're going to call this a StaticCast builder. Okay. Don't care. Got a reminder about something on YouTube. Do not care. So this will be internal style class. We're going to say internal static void build. Yeah, because we're going to want to have here members to generate. So this will be a list of iMethod symbol members to generate. And you don't know what any of these are, but fine. There. Okay. So now what we need to do is copy some more code from over here. And let's go to the builders up here. Partially apply builder. Source text from that. So, we make this a seal. Okay. And then we do this. Those are, yeah, okay. And then we have a private read only of this. So we're going to say this dot members generate is equal to members to generate. Okay. And then what else do we need to do? We need to get the code, and the code is going to be this. Okay. you don't know what that is, but you do now. This dot code is equal to, what are we doing here? We are doing a source text from this dot build. You don't know what build is, right? That's okay. You're gonna, because we're gonna copy this, and that's what's gonna, let's do all the things. Okay, let's get that grabbed first. I love grabbing, copying, pasting code. That is probably one of the next things on my list, is to get that shared library made where I have all these things that I'm constantly copying and pasting into all these other source generator libraries and other places. One and done them. So we're going to need that. And then we just need to do this. So we're going to basically kind of copy this. We want to say here that I think we're not going to make it a partial. We're just going to say it is called StaticCast of t as. Okay. And then we're going to do that. We're going to do writer.indent ++. And then we're going to eventually come out of this the other way, minus that. And then the last thing we do is this big thing up at the top. Okay. This is a little confusing to read. It's not exactly the prettiest thing in the world, but does the job, I guess. So whatever. Okay. So we have that. Those are all the usings, and these are all the things we're going to put here. Now, the first thing we need to do is generate some of this boilerplate code, and that is what I have, not there, in the playground. Let's close this out for a second. And what I mean by that is we need to generate the verify, and we need to generate the get target method. Okay, so how do we want to do this? Do we want to do this in the builder, or do we want to put this in like StaticCast helpers builder? Let's just go with that. Let's keep them a little bit more spread out. I really wish it would do that automatically. Okay, that would be nice. Static class. And then if I'm following what I'm doing here, we have this pattern where we just keep saying like build. Yep. It's good to follow patterns. Where is the import everything? Oh, you don't have that. And we don't need that, I don't think. Probably not. So what we want to say here is we want to do a private static void build build verify with the indented text writer, and we'll get that done in a moment. And then we want to do private static void build, what do we call that one? Build get target method. Indented text writer. Okay, so we'll get those done. So we'll say here, this is going to be StaticCast helpers builder, build verify, and pass in the writer, and we're going to probably pass in the gatherer. That would probably be a good thing. Did I just? Yeah, I did. And then we want to do build get target method. Okay. And my younger son is just having so much fun being loud when he plays VR. Okay. So this one is verify. So we basically want to just do all of this, copy and paste. Writer.writeLine, private static void verify. Except you need to do that. Writer.writeLine. We want to do that. And then writer.indent ++, and eventually going to do writer.indent -, writer.writeLine, and we close it off. Okay. Now, what else do we want? We want to say var t type is type of t. Okay. And then we'll put a space in there. Writer.WriteLine, writer.WriteLine. If t type is interface, and this is where we do that, writer.WriteLine. This is the tedium part. This is the tedium part. Okay. So in this case, we want to say throw that. And this one's going to be fun, writer.WriteLine, because we have to do an embedded within an embedded, which is always fun. So what we want to say here is you're actually putting that in, and then that, and then that, and that doesn't work. Did I? Yes, that's what I want. That one, not the other one. There we go. Okay. And so that will do that. And then we want to say else if something. Else if t-type is abstract. Then we say the t-type is abstract. So we don't have to really do all that. That's fine. Okay, cool. Let's see if I can get this done. At least this one method, and then the next one will be WriteLine. And now I want to say var as type is type of t as. Okay. And then we want a line there, and we want to say if grab all, let's just grab all this again. And let's do that. Just make it a real pain in the butt to read. So now we want to say if as type is not an interface, then the t as type is not an interface. And there we go. So we've got verify build. Okay. GetTarget method is going to take a little bit more time, and I'm kind of near the end of my time for this episode. So in the next episode, I'll write this one, and we should have that done then. Let's put a space in between this, writer.WriteLine. We also need to do, geez, Ryan, be quiet. add to the gatherer all the things we need, which I think in this case is just going to be not supported exception. We're going to need that. Okay. And then I think down here, do we need anything? Probably method info, just to make sure not supported exception, because again, we don't want to be relying too much upon things above us. This is for this scope. We know we need to add these things. I think that'll be good there. So we'll have this written, and then it's just doing these little pieces of code. These, just was that Bob Ross? Just these little things here. Just a dab, just a touch, and then we'll be done. So I'll say probably another 3 episodes before I can start writing a test. Hopefully not. Hopefully this, this is actually going fairly well so far, but there's more to do. So thank you all for watching. Leave comments and questions below. See you in the next episode.